Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. We'd like to welcome Henrick Stenson into the interview room here. He is making his first ever start at the Corrales Puntacana Resort and Club Championship. Henrick, while I know you haven't seen the golf course yet this week, it is pretty obvious from the drive from the airport that this is a pretty special place. If we can get some comments on being here for the first time.
Yeah, looking forward to the week. Obviously, Dominican Republic is well known for its ocean and beaches and great resorts. So yeah, excited to be here and visiting one of them, possibly the top one then, or it should be the top one, right? So yeah, that's going to be a fun week. Making my first appearance here. From year to year, we tend to a lot of times end up in the same schedules, and now with everything being shuffled around and up in the air, it made for a a good trip for me to come down here and play this week and play next week as well in Mississippi. So yeah, a couple of new tournaments, and having done what I've done for that long, I don't get to see too many new places these years. So excited to put a few new kind of pins on the world map as well, and meet some new people.
And with it being a new place, talk a little bit about the next couple of days and how you'll go about preparing for a new golf course.
Yeah, so as soon as we are done talking here, I'm going to run out and play 9 holes. We got a 9-hole Pro-Am. Like Graham said, we got Pro-Am back in place. Even though it's a limited one, we got it back tomorrow. So I'll play 9 tomorrow, and I'll play 9 this afternoon to familiarize myself with the golf course. My caddy Glenn, he's already been around it, so he should have somewhat drawn up the game plan already. And I expect, given how much it's been pulling in this tent here for the last hour, I expect wind to be a pretty big factor, and I can see why Graham managed to win the championship last year, being from Northern Ireland and a very good wind player. I think you got to control your ball flight around here and really keep it in play. But we done well at the Open a few times over the years, so hopefully I can bring my wind game this week too.
And speaking of Graham, we just talked with him a little bit about what a challenging year this has been for everyone. Talk a little bit about that and how your golf game has held up through it all.
Yeah, I've still played a fair amount of golf away from tour, but given how everything kind of turned out and family-wise and where we position ourselves in the summer and so on, I took a slightly different approach to some of the other guys. I wasn't really there when we picked up again, and yeah, I've only played 3 tournaments in 6 months basically, so I got a pretty busy fall schedule ahead of me. And yeah, I mean, what do you do? It's been certainly different and strange times for us. I've managed to spend some more time with the family and being at home a lot more, and now we're ready to take advantage of these tournaments in the fall and try and get the game ready and wrap up some points. It's normally for me, I play some on the European Tour on the back end of the year and don't really have a chance to get any of these fall events in. So yeah, I hope I can bring some game to a few of them and wrap up some FedEx Cup points, like a head start going into next season.
All right, great. We will open it up to questions, and we're going to start with Bernie McGuire.
Henry, hi. Thanks for doing this.
Hi, Bernie.
How are you? Listen, I was going to ask you, is it a relief to be getting down to a course like this where, as you probably checked, 15 under, 20 under par wins, particularly after, as I said, the GMAC, the brutal test of last week? And how brutal was it in terms of the majors you've played?
Yeah, I guess both yes and no. I think if I look at my career and my game and so on, I'm probably one that fares better on courses where we're looking at a winning score at 8-10 under par rather than 20 under par maybe. But I hope the same feeling that I've had before in my career when you play a tough US Open test, and the week after you feel like all the pin positions are accessible and easy, and if you miss there's no rough and all the rest of it. So hopefully that goes for this week too. Always a tough test at the US Open, and the rough was brutal, and it's more than anything I found the green complexes to be extremely difficult around Winged Foot, and we know they were built a long time ago, and the speed of the greens were maybe perhaps not what we're seeing today and what we play today. So I think that makes them extremely challenging, and and very tough.
In saying that, Henrik, would you rather play more wing foot type golf courses, or probably wait every 14 years till wing foot comes back on the rotor?
Yeah, that might be a very good description. Yes, please.
Okay. And can I just steal one more other question? You said you're playing here for the first time. Is there any consideration of heading across the pond and playing any European Tour events, or are you committed with the family over there in the States to remain in the States?
Yeah, I'm planning on staying here. I certainly got my eyes on Dubai in December as a wrap up of this 2020 season, but I'm staying stateside and playing some on the PGA Tour here for the next couple of months, so not making a trip over at this time, no.
Okay, great. Have a good week, okay? Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks.
Okay, let's go to Josh Gardner with Sky Sports.
Hi, Henrik. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Thank you for this. You talk of how brutal last weekend was. Just in your opinion, just put into perspective how impressive it was for Bryson to do what he did and what he's doing for the game of golf.
Yeah, certainly a very impressive performance from Bryson. I tend to agree with Rory. If you would have given me the number of fairways hit and that kind of game style or game plan at the start of the week, I probably wouldn't have thought that was the recipe for winning either. So yeah, he certainly surprised more than a few with that. But hitting the ball long way is one factor. I don't know the stats by heart, but I heard on the broadcast quickly that I think he had a 90% conversion rate last season inside 10 feet. So if that's the case, you can pretty much wrap it up as a great putting performance and short game and controlling his irons and everything. You're not winning a US Open just by hitting the ball a long way. And also there's a few factors I think to take into account at Wingfoot. One is that most of the green complexes are halfly or open, so from the rough you can scoot the ball in, and if you then standing back the 140, 150 yards in the rough, you certainly have a much better chance to get that ball up onto the fringe or on the green than if you're 200 yards back and trying to do the same thing. So that certainly gives you that indication that it's better to be further up. And also the number of fairways hit at Wingfoot I think is pretty low in terms of percentages. So if everyone's missing a lot of fairways, again, you'd rather be further up than to be further back if you're in the rough. So yeah, certain courses is going to favor certain game plans and style of play, and that certainly worked out great for Bryson. So yeah, again, congratulations to his performance.
I asked Graham the same question. We've heard of the term tiger-proof when he burst onto the scene and changed the game of golf. Do you ever think we'll see courses being Bryson-proofed?
Well, if Bryson can't reach them, then no one else will reach them either, I guess. So then it'll be proof for everyone. I think when that term tiger-proof came into effect, it would just play even more in the favor of that player who's hitting it further and playing better golf. Then the harder it gets, the more it's gonna benefit that player. So the only thing you can do, of course, is making it even more narrow and deeper rough the further you go. But I don't think that's a fair way of setting the golf course up. I would like to see it the same. I mean, if you hit it 330 yards straight, you shouldn't be more. You shouldn't be penalized compared to hitting it 290 and hit it straight, and vice versa. So I want to see kind of the same setup, no matter if you hit it long or short in terms of width and how it looks if you miss. Numbers would tell you that it's harder to hit it 330 and keep it straight than 290. So it's still going to be more of a challenge to keep it straight the harder and longer you hit it.
Henrik, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, we'll take one more from Bernie before we transition into the Swedish portion of our press conference.
I'd like to see Bernie continue on the Swedish questions.
I'm still learning to speak English.
Good on you.
Listen, Henrik, I know you're still a pretty young fella. So if you had a choice, more muscles or a 48-inch driver? Long driver.
Well, we could always do with a few more kilos of muscles, I guess. So we'll go for the muscles then. Looks better on the beach here in Dominican Republic as well.
There you go. All the best. Okay, thanks, Henrik.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Yep, thanks, Bernie. All right, Henrik, a few in Swedish if we can, please. First question, from Wingfoot to Corrales. How do you adjust in the differences in those two golf courses?
Ja, givetvis skillnad. Spela en resortbana, vilket jag tror att det här är. Jag har inte varit ute på banan ännu, ska jag direkt ut här när vi är klara. Så att det är självklart så kommer det vara betydligt lättare att skåra och spela golf här denna veckan. Men man måste ju fortfarande göra det, så att jag hoppas att vi har filat lite vidare på spelet. Var inte jättenöjd med det på US Open, så vinden kommer att bli den största utmaningen tror jag denna veckan. Det blåser ganska mycket här nere på öarna, så att ha koll på sina slag i vinden kommer ju bli en av utmaningarna, och det hoppas jag att vi kan ha här.
What part of your game do you need to work on the hardest right now?
Ja, även om inte puttningen kändes dålig, så tyckte jag inte att det satte så här mycket puttar förra veckan, så att vi behöver putta lite bättre helt klart. Men har även jobbat på det långa spelet, och jag vet ju att om svingen funkar rätt så sitter den ju med de flesta klubborna, så att ja, vi har lite långsiktiga grejer vi jobbar på, det kör vi vidare på. Hoppas att vi kan vara spelbara och göra en bra tävling här denna veckan.
And finally, what are your expectations for this week?
Ja, förväntningarna, det är väl alltid att spela bra, det hoppas man ju alltid. Sen göra sitt bästa, det är ju alltid en bra utgångspunkt. Brukar man inte kunna göra mer än så. Spelmässigt som sagt, jag har ett antal grejer som jag jobbar på. Det är ju processer som man jobbar över tid, och vi har sista majorn för året här om 1,5 månad, så att ja, vi jobbar långsiktigt och en hel säsong framför oss sen också, så att jag känner väl ingen stress här nu. Jag har bara spelat 3 tävlingar på 6 månader, och då kan man ju inte förvänta sig att man ska vara i kanonform och på alla sätt och vis heller, så att vi krigar på och ser om vi kan bli lite bättre varje dag.
Henrik, as always, thank you for your time.